Folks, we are live. Welcome to Talking Crit. I am Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. With me is none other than the Disco King himself,
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to
Bad
be known as Disco King.
Mike Battalato. Disco
Please,
Inferno,
please
baby.
refer to me as the groovy Disco King, and then yes,
Oh, I can't sing "Burn the Mother Effer Down" just yet because if I do that in the first 2 minutes of the live, they will demonetize me.
oh, okay. We'll keep
Can't
it clean.
can't
We'll
can't
keep it clean,
kill.
just like disco was, just like disco in the '70s. We'll keep it clean because disco in the '70s is all about good, clean fun. I worked with a guy. I got my first job at a warehouse, age 15, 1978. Working in my dad's warehouse, no air conditioning. It was tough work, but at the time I was being paid minimum wage. Let me tell you, minimum wage for a 15-year-old in '70s was a-okay because it was like $5 an hour. So I don't know, $3. It was a lot of money back then. So one of our guys, his name was Robert, and I can't remember his other name, not my brother Robert, just a Robert. He was a disco dude. Every weekend he would hit the discos, and so he would drive me home usually some days of the week. Sometimes I couldn't drive. I was 15. So my dad would
Right.
pay him, I don't know, $10 or whatever, to drive me home every night because he'd be on there. But he'd drive me on his way to the disco. So he'd get all, he had like a Trans Am or something, a 78, 77 Trans Am. He'd go in the bathroom as soon as the work day ended. He'd doll himself up. He'd come out like the stench of cologne all over him.
I'm about to say
Cha-
that
Gold
was the 70s.
chains. Oh man! And he had the wide lapels, the judgment look. And we'd get in his car, and he would drive me home. And on the way there, he'd be telling about all the chicks he was gonna take care of in the disco that night. Because he would always, every Friday night go to the disco, every Saturday night go, and he was always dragging something out of there. And according to him, and that was my introduction to disco. And then he'd be playing disco on his 8 track. His 8 track, Eric. So
Ooh.
he got to get himself in the mood, man. He was getting himself in the mood, playing a little Casey and the Sunshine Band, little Tramps Disco Inferno. It's you got to knock on wood. I mean, he would just, and so my whole drive home every Friday that summer of like whatever, 78 was being, that guy, Robert, was the true disco king. He was the ultimate disco king. And so I will never forget him. And I salute your art wherever you are now. I hope you didn't catch crabs or herpes, but back then, yeah, things happened. So maybe he did. I don't know. But yes, I was exposed to that lifestyle without ever actually living it. And I by the time I was old enough to go to clubs, the disco era was firmly over. I was 18 and let's see, 81. So yeah, disco era was pretty much over at that point. And so I did not get that. But if I have to go back in time, Eric, I'll bring you with me, and we'll roll up to Studio 54, and we'll roll in, and we'll see what's going
I'll
on
have
there.
to unbutton my shirt even more than it's unbuttoned now.
The thing is, we could probably look like we look now if we're just wearing enough gold chains and gold watches. The chicks will just think we're some old guys who are just trying to, hey, those old
Hey,
guys are coming to this
they
go.
got
Awesome.
money. They're not just
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
throwing around random cash. They've got real cash.
So the Midnight Auction this year had a salute to the '70s theme, and disco was a huge part, as Eric can tell you. And we had a disco ball. We had the Disco King there. I had a fro about up to here with devil horns
Yes.
on it. The Devilettes were all discoed up. I mean, we were living, breathing the '70s, Eric. It's hard to believe that D&D existed in the same era as disco, but it did. They were one of the same.
God bless each and every one of us. I remember
Oh
sixth grade uh,
dear.
dancing the hustle
Oh.
in the school gym. And I still remember I was partnered up with Debbie DeGruccio, who was probably the hottest girl in the class.
Oh,
So
I'm
then
sorry.
therefore I was like, thank God. But he's like dun 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 dun. It's like go straight.
It's easiest dance in the world. I mean, your grandmother could dance the hustle. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
knew the hustle back then. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Oh man, those are the days, Eric. I mean, that was 50 years ago. 50. So let me tell you something. So 50 years ago tonight. So that would be, I don't know, whatever, 84. No, 50.
Yeah,
Oh, 50.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
74.
Okay, let's do this then. 46 years ago tonight. I can tell you what I was doing with almost 100% certainty because we
Okay.
had discovered. So my friend Joe Kielowski, Dr. Joe, moved from Delaware or I'm sorry, Maryland, and brought with him this game called D&D. And so I discovered D&D in the spring of 1978, about a month before school was out. I guess my sophomore year in high school, and so we were. So that's D&D, and all you want to do is play D&D all and read about it and do. I mean, everything was D&D from that moment on. I don't know what I had in school that year. I don't even know what I did the last month or 2 months of school. I don't care. I was learning how to play D&D. So that summer, pretty much every week, because I worked for my dad's warehouse, but I only worked Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, D&D all day long, baby. And then maybe let me see, yeah. And then the weekends were D&D all weekend long, which means that either I stayed at my friend Doug Preuss's house or he stayed at my house, and we would get everybody together. We go to one of the two. We get our parents to bring us there because we couldn't drive, and we would play D&D from. We get it Friday night. We start playing Friday night. We play till 2 or 3 in the morning. Sleep, get up in the morning. And this is Texas in '78, so it's hot. So it's 100 degrees outside. You can't do anything outside. We play all day Saturday, and then probably go to bed late and wake up early Sunday, and that would be when you go home. That's when your parents come pick you up on the way to church or whatever. So pretty much I can say with almost certainty that 1978, pretty much every single day of summer in 1978, I was playing D&D. At night. And our parents did not know what to think about it, Eric, because we were occupied for the first times in our lives. Something was occupying our time and space, just totally occupying it. I mean, we didn't care about anything else, And like I said, help, we were in Texas, and it was very hot, so we couldn't play outside anyway. But I think there was a point when they probably started worrying, right about July or August, like, man, all our kids have done is play D&D every single day. For the last summer. But yes, 1978 was my summer of D&D. That was the summer of D&D, 1978. And we played the hell out of the Holmes box set. We had the Monster Manual. Was the Player's Handbook come out at Gen Con that year? Or was that 70? No, yeah, the Player's Handbook came out at Gen Con that year. And so we soon got the Player's Handbook, and we had that. We did not have the DMG till the next year. But we managed to get through the Giant series. We got through, oh my gosh, B1, whatever was out. Whatever was out, we ran. S1, we used the characters in the back of the book to do S1. I mean, whatever was out, we did. Whatever modules were in Dragon magazine, we used. I mean, it was, then of course you had to start making your own stuff up eventually because you couldn't find anything else. So, but yes, I'll always remember the summer of '78. It was the summer of '69. No, it was the summer of '78.
'78 doesn't quite work.
No, it doesn't. But that was my D&D summer. What was your D&D? Did you have a D&D summer or not, or did you just kind of find it during the year? Or what was your deal?
Well, I actually came. D&D was Christmas break of 6th grade, so that was '79, I believe, because D&D Kenny, my friend Kenny, only had the DMG. It had just come out.
Oh,
he just got it, and he didn't have the Player's Handbook. So he ran me through like a solo adventure he wrote where I was killing skeletons. And I mentioned this before. I named my fighter Cyrus. So I thought Cyrus was a cool name, and only Cyrus I knew at that time was Cyrus. Was it the Secretary of State or something like that? Was
Cyrus Vance? Yeah,
that's the only Cyrus I ever heard of, but I thought it was cool. And when you paid 10.6 cents a minute on the phone, if you went over like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it was, he had to call a friend to find out if I leveled because he didn't have the Player's Handbook. And I was hooked.
I remember you telling me that. That's great.
I was hooked. So I
This
guess
is
early that summer, I got to read the DMG for the first time. So I
Mhm.
borrowed it when we were in Belmar. I was visiting
Uh-huh.
with his family, and then my mother and father got me the Player's Handbook and the DMG and a set of dice for my birthday in July. So it was good.
Wow. Yeah, we had. So
You were
I remember
young
the
and
first thing we bought was the Holmes box set. That and so I learned that, but then I heard what somebody said. Well, I can't remember if it was Joe or somebody said, well, there's advanced D&D out now, but the player's handbook is not out yet. And I seem to remember getting the player's handbook pretty quick. So I guess it was released before Gen Con. Maybe it was that May or something or June, because it seems like I had my hands on it pretty quick. The player's handbook. Now we were stymied because we didn't have the DMG, and if you remember, magic items of the Giant series that are described in a Dragon magazine, because at that point Dungeon Master Guy was not yet. So we had to stumble through trying to figure out, how to do high level characters. And yeah, and we didn't have to hit charts or any of that stuff because that was all going to be in the DM. But you know what? We just loved this. We just played, man. We just played,
yeah.
and like I said, we played it so much that so halfway through, so the middle of summer of '78, I went down to the beach for a week to spend time with our relatives. And my best friend at the time, Doug Preuss, he came with me, and he was in our D&D group, and so was my brother Robert. We went down to South Padre Island to the beach, and we played D&D every night. Because I mean, we're too young to go hit the bars or pick up chicks or anything. So we're sitting in their hotel room, and we're like,
Right.
okay. And my parents had one room, and we had the room next to them, and there's a connecting door that was shut all the time, and we're just like, all right, what are we gonna do? I don't know. Let's play D&D. So we brought all our D&D stuff, and I remember to this day we played the Frost Giant series because we thought it was so funny that here we are at the beach, it was hot, and we're supposed to pretend like we're in these caverns, these ice caverns, and this and that. So what we did was, you're not paying for the air conditioning, right? It's a hotel. We jacked the AC down to like 50 in there, as low as it could go, and it was like blowing. I mean, you could hear it blowing, and then we crank up a little Zeppelin. So we had Zeppelin going. We had the air conditioning going. My dad's banging on the door, going, "Hey, turn that down." And he'd open the door. Why is it so cold in here? It's freezing. We're like, because we're in the Frost Giant, man. He's like, okay, whatever. He shuts the door. Just whatever. I don't know if this kid's
God
really.
bless.
And we're sitting there freezing, rolling the dice. Oh man, it really does feel like we're in the Frost Giant, now. So I will remember that whatever 46 years later, I'll always remember that summer because that summer changed my life, man. The Holmes book, and then of course we went out and bought everything available, which I think at the time was S1, I think G1, G2, and then I think it was it. And I think it had Search the Unknown. I don't know if T1. I think I can't remember, but there was very little out at that point. Very little. We didn't find any We Warrior stuff. We Warrior stuff was a bit out, but man, that would have been. I never saw We Warrior stuff till like the '90s. Oh, so that was, man. We had so much fun. We had the old Grenadier miniatures, and then we try to paint. They look terrible. We played the Wizards and Warriors box set, and then the Monster set. We'd use that, and we did. Of course, we didn't have any mats or anything. We just had to use, our imagination, and it was, we had a blast, and we never got burned out on it. I mean, we're playing it every single day.
Oh no,
I
yeah,
think
no.
maybe towards the end of the summer, or this summer, we got a little like, okay, yeah, maybe let's go do something else. let's play baseball one day, because this is getting crazy. All we're doing is playing this over and over again.
For us, burnout just meant, and that was later when we had other RPGs.
Yeah.
Oh, we're burning out. All right, well, let's play Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay for.
Yeah. Oh wait, here's a new game called Top Secret. Let's try Top Secret.
Yeah.
Okay, we take our characters, we all run and kick the door in. The guy opens up with a machine gun. You're all dead. Wait a second, this isn't D&D, is it? No, it's not D&D. You can die. And we had Gamma World too, I believe. I believe Gamma World was out. So we were pretty much TSR junkies for a while. We were Gamma World, Top Secret. We never tried Boot Hill. I don't know why. I guess we just never thought about that one. And then what else? What did we play that was non-TSR? We still played some Avalon Hill war games here and there, but once you started playing D&D, the war games were never. Oh, we played some of the. Remember those micro games that they had from
Ogre, GEV.
Yeah. We played that. Sticks and Stones. I mean, all those. There was some sci-fi ones. We played those on during that summer too. Every once in a while, we're like, oh man, let's not play D&D one day. Okay, let's just play Ogre, so we get our Ogre,
Well,
our
yeah,
counters
we
out.
took over to college a lot. We would play that in the chess room. It was perfect for those small chess tables because the board was so damn small. And
Yep. Yep. Yeah, because they didn't come out with a big board for Ogre for a while. It was a little micro game, so you get a little tiny board. Yeah. And we might have played a little Fantasy Trip. I don't remember. I didn't run it. I think I knew a guy that ran Fantasy Trip. I don't remember. That was more during the school year. I don't think we played that outside of school. Oh, but yeah, then we came back into school in 1979 or 1978 that fall. We knew everything about D&D. We're like, well, let's roll with this, baby. And so we got all our friends. We went to school, and we're like, man, we play D&D all summer. What's D&D? Oh, man, and so we had so many people playing with us. And some liked it and stayed. Some didn't like it and played it a couple times. Like, yeah, it's not really for me. But 1978 and all 1979 was just recruiting more people, man. We're just getting people in there. And this how crazy it was. So when the DMG came out, I had to work that day because I got my first job around the town. I was 16, had a car. I called in sick so I could read the DMG because there was no way I was going to be able to work thinking about the DMG sitting on my desk at home and not be able to read that.
Right.
So I called in sick that day. Yeah.
I must. So I guess we gotta get this wasn't the stupid yet. We haven't gotten into.
I know. I'm just getting a little misty-eyed nostalgia here because it's summer. Here it is, summer, and I'm thinking about 1978, and I'm thinking about how WotC could fuck this up, which they they continue to do, and then I'm just like, hey, let's do a little. Let's go down nostalgia.
I have the making of D&D book 50-year history, whatever the hell it's called.
Okay.
I haven't even broke the cellophane on it. It arrived today. I took it out of its Amazon box, and then I was like, "Oh my god, this is like one of the heaviest books I think I've ever owned." Actually, Weird Frontiers is probably heavier, but not by much. Wow. Otherwise, it reminds me of a textbook. It's intimidating. I gotta say that. So I haven't started reading it yet.
Well, that'll be interesting, though. It looks like an interesting book. It's got the original rules for OD&D, correct? I mean, that's one of the big draws to that.
Yeah, actually, Rob Conley pointed something out in our text message stream that it explains how the elf was originally intended to be played, and the elf would advance as one. I forget what level. They weren't calling it levels; it was titles. So the elf could advance to hero, but you had to advance as one class before permanently switching to the other class.
Right.
But you could use magic items with either class or something like that. I'll have to actually read the damn thing.
Well, once again, it shows its war game roots, I think, because a modern gamer wouldn't be able to handle that because remember OD&D was you can be a fighter some days and you can be a mage some days. You can't be a fighter and a mage at the same time. It wasn't until AD&D that they said, oh yeah, you can be a fighter and mage at the same time. And so trying to make that make any kind of sense in a logical world is illogical. It doesn't make any sense. Well, yesterday I could throw a fireball. Well, you can't today because you're a fighter today. Okay.
Fugly, as you would know if you went to one of the auctions at North Texas, strength is not a condition.
It's not a condition. No, not at all.
It can be a selling point, but it's not a condition.
I always say it's not a condition, but it's a cachet, right? I mean, if you have something to shrink, it's kind of cool, and you're probably not going to pull that shrink off. But you're right. Your book can be beat up underneath there, but you're still probably not going to pull the shrink off. Right. Because you're going to say, I don't know. It just looks cool because with the shrink on there, it's never been played or read. Once you pull the shrink off, all bets are off. You don't know.
I have an Empire of the Petal Thrones box set I got on eBay, and the box was slightly crushed, but it was still in the shrink. It was shelf worn for sure, like being on a store shelf for 20 years. But it was still in the shrink, and the shrink lasted long enough for me to rip the shrink off because I needed to see what was inside.
By the way, so a bit important about war games. So I've told the story about Papa Squad Leader before, but I'm going to tell it again because it ties into what happened in 1978. So 1978 was my first year of high school. There was a guy, an older guy. He wore a beret to school, a big fat guy. Everybody called him Papa Squad Leader because he brought his squad. So we had this big giant cafeteria. It was a brand new high school, or pretty new. It was this giant cafeteria. We only used half it. The other half was just these tables sitting there. So people go over there and, I don't know, do their homework, or whatever. Because we had a full 30 minutes, or I think it might have been an hour for lunch. We had a long time for lunch. And so Papa Squad Leader would sit up on a table, put out all his squad leader stuff, and if you came over there and played with you, he'd play scenarios with you. And we called Papa Squad Leader because he had all the squad leader variants, everything. He knew how to play. He was a really good guy in teaching how to play. And so we go over there all during, the fall of 77, spring of 78, until we found out about D&D. Then we stopped going to Papa Squad Leader. And so when the fall of 78 came around, there were still these guys that played, and people would bring micro games. I think I want to say there was some micro games available in 78. It seemed like there were. Bringing box games too. We were bringing D&D. And so the first comment was, where's your board? Where's the game board? It's all in your mind. Well, it doesn't even make any sense. And so then we started poaching people from Papa Squad Leader's campaign because they would come over and go, hey, what are you guys playing? We're playing D&D. And they go, man, that looks cool, because they'd see the map all drawn out in the grid and stuff. And so Papa Squad Leader was not happy because his pupils had become his rivals. The boys he once taught how to play squad leader and hoped they would carry on the tradition of wargaming. I think he brought War of the Rings a couple times too, but I don't know. They couldn't have played that in an hour, so I don't know what they were doing. Maybe just playing a scenario. But the pupils had become the rivals, and we started stealing people from Papa Squad Leader. And so, unfortunately, Papa Squad Leader graduated in the spring of 1979, so we never saw him again. I don't have to him. And at that point, the next year, D&D had taken over the tables, man. There was no wargaming left going on. It was all D&D, baby. And not only that, I think there was a few micro games playing. Somebody might have been playing. I'd have to look at my dates. Somebody might have been playing Fantasy Trip. That might have been later on. But yeah. By the fall of 1979, it was pretty much all D. Squad Leader had been conquered, Eric. It lost the war. Squad Leader lost the war. D&D won the war, and D&D was being played at all the extra tables in the lunchroom. So I salute you, Papa Squad Leader. Thank you for teaching me Squad Leader, but ultimately your teachings were abandoned, and your student went on to other games. So,
I don't want to reshrink anything though, Foodly. Thank you. I worked retail.
Oh.
I used to reshrink certain things.
Gun said ASL ruined Squad Leader. So here's what Papa Squad Leader's genius. He could so you'd be doing something. You go, well, can we do this? Well, rule 14.3.7. You know how they always had the rules. Right. Rule 14.3.7a in the ASL something, whatever. He knew all those 500 pages, Gun. And he could tell you exactly what the rule is, which actually made the games flow really well, because you didn't have to stop looking up rules. He would just tell you, yes, you can move your half track across the minefield, or no, you couldn't do that. You have to roll this. So there was people out there that this is before social media, when we didn't have to worry about MTV and YouTube and all that stuff, that they would sit there and memorize Avalon Hill rule books.
So. Grendel, I did not even know that New Mexico had bars.
It's bad. Yeah, it's really bad. Really bad. I've heard they had a dry spring, unlike we did. We had a wet spring.
So
Papa Squad Leader is probably still playing ASL. You're right, Gun. Well, he was a kind of a big guy. Unless he died of a heart attack, you're right. He probably is. I wish I knew his real name. I'd look him up. Don't remember his name, but he was known as Papa Squad Leader.
First micro games by Metagaming were in 77.
Okay, then we had some there. Yeah, because I remember people pulling it out of their back pockets or their backpacks, and they would have the little game and set it up and play the little micro games.
You're invited.
By the time, oh yeah, well I will try to pop on there, Glenn. I love hanging out with you guys. So definitely, I will definitely come by. I don't know what the show's about, but I'm sure I can think of something. By the way, what's the show about tonight, Eric? Besides for nostalgia, do we have a theme tonight? Midget wrestling. We were gonna cover Ian and Rocky's project, and Ian has decided he would blow us off. This is no lie for midget wrestling.
I don't know if today's dwarf crossing, but there's definitely midget wrestling in a barn.
Midget wrestling in a bar. That's all we know. And for all we know, Jim went to join him because Jim's not here. He may be midget wrestling. He may be. You know what? He's got that voice. He's probably announcing it, emceeing the midget wrestling right now.
Oh my God.
But we had a couple of interesting articles we read this week that
Yeah.
we shared, and so that one of them I'm going to let you talk about more than me because I have a comment on it because I don't think it. I think it's bullshit. It doesn't say anything, but I guess it gives insight to what Watsy thinks they're going to do with the next phase of the game.
Okay. So are we? Okay. Let's make me sure we got the right one here. The Gizmodo article.
Yes.
All right. Hold on a second. So, for those playing along at home and want to find this article, I'm going to drop the link in the comments so you too can read along at home in my bad Italian accent. All right, only the best for you all. So, apparently, the big selling point of D&D 2024, which is 5e, but not really 5e, because you can play the stuff together, but you really shouldn't. And it's changed all the subclasses to the definitive subclasses. So they're basically new, and you can still play that subclass as it currently operates in D&D. If it's the old one, but you got to actually tweak it and house rule it to make it fit to the mechanics of actually playing the game. This is the quote here. Here, this is it. I'm going to zoom in on this. If it isn't, you can still play that subclass as it currently operates in D&D, fitting into the other tweaks to the mechanical act of actually playing the game. In other words, it's not the same game because you got to make adjustments.
And by the way, this is the 48 subclasses across the
48.
Indians 12 primary classes. 48 was I don't even know. Well, no, I think that maybe the splat books had that many. If you added every splat
Oh,
book
I had
in,
more than that.
probably,
If you went
yeah.
into it, there's probably over
Mhm.
100 subclasses at this point. But
Yeah.
this is 40. So there's 12 core classes. Each core class has 4 subclasses.
Jeez.
And of course, they say, I think people are going to definitely want to transition to the new books because it's not only the amount of thrilling new material here, such corporate speak, but also the returning material is clearer, better
Mm.
organized, and also
Mhm.
more tightly integrated with each other.
This is bullshit. I mean, and you want to know why it's bullshit? Because I've heard people talk about this. They're going to want to take the new subclasses not because it's thrilling and clear but organized, because they're more powerful. They've already said what they're going to do is they're going to make the subclasses better. So there's no reason for you to want to play the. I mean, why would you play a guy that gets a +2 to power attacks when the new subclass gives him +4? There's no reason at all. So everybody's going to want to play the new subclasses because they're going to be an upgrade over the old subclasses. That's how they're going to be able to get away with it or get rid of it without getting rid of it, without saying, yeah, you can't use this anymore. They're going to say, yeah, you could choose this version of the class which sucks or this version
Yeah,
which is kick ass.
why would you? Why
Yeah,
would you want to? And
yeah,
by the way,
exactly.
you can use the classes, but you can't use the rules from the different books and mix and match because that doesn't work. They do specify that.
No,
But
no.
here, I love it. Construction is the thing that defines the 3 new core rule books more than any of the litany of specific rules changes. There's a litany of specific rules
Mm.
changes. Litany is like beyond number. Okay, the player handbook opens with a first for a rule book, not character creation, but an entire chapter dedicated to brushing up returning players and introducing new players entirely to the act of actually playing D&D. If you're a returning player, you don't need to actually be brushed up on anything, unless it's to introduce you to the new game.
It's basically it's a dummies book, right? You know, D&D for dummies,
Right.
except they don't want to say that, but they're going to say, yeah, unless you know, yeah, we're going to give this. But really, what the update's going to do, what these examples are going to do, these play examples, they're just going to show you how the game's played using the new rules, and it's going to be different enough. I think that you're going to probably need to read those.
Yes.
You know,
This chapter walks the reader step by step through all
yeah,
the basics of the game and will not be pivotal just for brand new players, but it will be fundamental for all of our veteran players
mm.
because we managed to condense all the game's basic rules into this one chapter, and it's not even that long. Again,
Oh,
if returning players, veteran players, need to be taught the game's basic rules, you're telling me it's no longer the same game. I mean, I don't know how else to parse that. That's English. It's not.
yeah.
It's
It's like the anti OSR. It's like where the OSR there's striving right now to try to make things simpler and easier and put less words in and make it more, you know, where you can just jump in and play. It's like D&D is going out of their way to make this the anti OSR. They're going to have more everything, more rules, more this that. Now they're telling you it's not going to play different, but it really is going to play different. But they tell you both things. They say it's not going to play different, but it's really going to play different. So
right.
I read this whole article. I mean, it's a good article to read. You should read it, but it doesn't tell you a thing. It's Jeremy Crawford talking rhetorical circles. This is not going to
Right.
be as complicated, but it's going to be more complicated. But then it's not as complicated. What? You know, the rules are going to be the same, but they're going to be different. But they're going to be the same, but they're going to be different. It's just a rhetorical circle they keep talking themselves in, and that's all this article is about. You know, is. I don't think you're going to learn anything about how to actually play the game by reading this article.
No, no, you're not getting. But they are telling you that there's enough changes that veteran players have to learn the new rules, and that
Yeah.
because normally when you say, "All right, they've re-edited it, whatever," it's the same rules. I don't need to relearn it, but they're
Mm-hmm.
telling you you need to relearn it, and if that's the
Yeah.
case,
Yeah.
try to
So, you know, I don't know. And I mean, and then, you know, they show you some pages from the rule book. It looks like
right.
generic weird art, you know, generic slick art.
You know, they talk about Greyhawk.
Yeah, well, they talk about ruining Greyhawk. There seems to be more, from what I'm seeing, there's a much more emphasis on we're going to give you examples of play rather than just tell you here's what you need to do. Which, you know, in itself, Eric, is not a bad idea. Because
No,
do you remember when we first got the Player's Handbook back in 78, 79? We didn't know how to play. There was no examples of play, really. There was that one page in the DMG where it gave an example of play, and my group never played like that with callers and stuff, so I didn't really get that. But there really wasn't a lot of examples of play. And so to give an example of play is not a bad idea. How you can see things how they work during actual play. The problem is now you can go to 100 YouTube channels and watch somebody playing the game. You don't really need them telling you when you can just go to a YouTube channel and somebody saying, hey, here's my group playing the new D&D. And you'll have a video up, you know what, in a month after the game's out. If that long, if not sooner.
so again, they keep stressing it's a show. Don't tell. We can but here's the problem with show don't tell. It's hard to reference show don't tell. When you're looking for rules that are show don't tell, it's hard
Right.
to find them.
Yes.
But D&D Beyond is going to have sheets to help you with their campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, gee, I guess. Oh, that's the hyperlink that takes you to the OGL fiasco.
Oh, by the way, I clicked that because I was like, hey, I want to be reminded of the darkest day in D&D history just for laughs. And boy, oh boy, had I forgotten some of the details of them decertifying the OGL. It was going to be an effing bloodbath. And so that's worth clicking that link too. And just in case you remember how bad it was going to be, where basically we own all your material. We could choose to reprint or not reprint it. We could choose to deauthorize it if we think it's bigoted or we don't like. I mean, rule after rule. Oh, by the way, you're going to have to report all your earnings to us. You have to send us a. I mean, and if you make over this month, you owe us. You owe us over 225%. If you make over, I mean, It was brutal, man. That first OGL decertification was brutal. Where they said, like, yeah, we're not going to, the old OGL doesn't have any sway anymore. You're going to have to use new OGL in all cases. And then here's what we're going to do. And we're going to screw you every way it can screw you on this. And it's no wonder that thing got pulled. I'd forgotten how bad that was, man. It was bad.
So now, remember, these articles are not written by Watsy, but I'm
Right.
gonna read you this line, and I'm going to point out what it actually states in English, which I don't think Watsy necessarily wants them to state. One that so they're talking about how the new books are going to give these 10 years of experience with 5e. One that Crawford hopes will make for an easy symbiotic transition from 5th edition into a familiar but updated version of the game. What are they saying in that sentence? It's not the same game. I know they're insisting on calling it 5th edition.
Yeah.
This is no more 5th edition than 3.5 was 3rd edition. Actually, I expect the changes are going to be a lot greater. Remember, there was I didn't play the 3rd edition or 3X, but material from 3rd edition and 3.5 were pretty much not that compatible. There was a huge issue of power creep and other issues. Now, this isn't going to be going from 3X to 4E, but this is at least going from 5E to 5.5. It's be a familiar game, but it's not going to be the same game. And I don't think that Watsy necessarily wants that story to be out there. But that's what the article essentially says. Like here,
Article doesn't really say anything though. At least I got it. It just seems like
here,
it's just kind of a not really a puff piece, but just hey, here's what Jeremy Crawford said. Doesn't really mean anything though. There's nothing we can take out of it.
Do you listen? Like you remember back in the days of 1E, when 1E was turned into 2E, and they did that whole bullshit storyline, not just in the fiction books about the gods, but also in like what Shadowdale or whatever. There was a trilogy of adventures.
The Avatar trilogy.
The Avatar trilogy.
Yeah.
We're gonna. This article is quoting. When it comes to the player's handbook, that in many ways will be the easiest to integrate. Again, this isn't the same game. Well, actually, the Monster Manual, both of them easy. Both of them easy are. My God, I feel like I'm reading something from North Carolina. Both of them easy are to integrate into an existing campaign because you could just decide we're going to retool our characters in our existing campaign to use the versions of the features in the new player's handbook. So when they say you can't use these books side by side, all right, you can't. Right. They're telling you can't. You've got to retool the characters. The monsters in a new monster manual can be dropped into your existing campaign, and they are designed to do that even if you're running in an official 5th edition adventure.
Oh boy!
That calls
they're calling it official. It's not 5th edition. It's official 5th edition. I mean, I don't get it.
Now, now what they're saying is, and they're kind of saying this here. You don't have to update your campaign to the new edition. It's like similarly, magic items in the new Dungeon Master's Guide can be integrated into your ongoing campaign. Really, all of it is, particularly on a DM side, super easy to integrate any of the material because the players often won't even know. Oh, the DM is using a spell that is using a brand new version of the thing until the spell fucks them over because it doesn't play out the way they thought it did. Right?
Yes.
I mean, that happened to us when going from 1st edition to 2nd edition because you remembered how you played. And it's like, oh, wait, that's not the same anymore. With the player characters, it might just be you decide, hey, we're going to have, all right, again, this is quoting a Watsy game designer. We're going to have a session where we retool our characters to use the new options. And then we just keep the campaign going. How long is your average D&D session? A low ended 3 hours. 3 hours. It's going to take you. They're expecting 3 hours for a party in a campaign, probably figure mid level, to retool their characters for the new
Oh boy.
option.
Yep.
All right. This is not 5e. I
No.
hate to say that. Well, I don't hate to say it. It is.
We don't care. It doesn't matter now if it's paid or not. But yes, I know where you're
Yeah.
coming from.
I mean, they're giving away the secret without literally telling you, but they're telling you.
Okay, so so in your opinion, because I have an opinion too. In your opinion, why are they not just saying, "Look, this is a game"? Why didn't they just call it 60 or
All right,
5.5?
5.5.
Why the reluctance to move forward?
Because when you go from third edition 3x to 4e, what happened? You shot the bed.
Yeah,
the idea used to be a new edition brings in money. Fourth edition lost money. And now part of the reason is the OGL. And I sincerely think the new OGL that they were proposing at the end of 2022, early 2023, was because they planned on significant changes for D&D 6e. And that for that, you had to lock down the old OGL. Follow the math here. Follow the logic. The old OGL allowed Paizo and others to take the third edition OGL SRD and basically create their own gaming environment, their own economy, their own competition to D&D 4e. Why did 4e died? Not just because it was a shitty system with a VTT that never happened. It died because it was fighting D&D 3X, which was Pathfinder. It was died because it was fighting the OSR. It was died because it was fighting all these other derivatives. You had to lock down the OGL and to allow a new edition to then rise up and have no competition. But they couldn't do that.
Well, remember one of the things they said about deauthorizing OGL was that it's time that we stop being our own competition. In other words, they blamed everything, which I mean, the game. I mean, it wasn't like the game was going bad. I mean, they were the most played, version of D&D ever, but they blamed the fact they weren't getting, as they said, the game wasn't monetized enough. They blamed that on Joe Block and Rob Conley and Jeff Talanian and Tom Wilson and Greg Gillespie. And they said, and Paizo, but they said, you guys are the reason we're not getting more money because you guys are stealing our audience. Not realizing, once again, the genius of the OGL was they didn't have to spend the time creating all this material. All they had to do was market their game books. They would sell a ton of their game books, and everybody else was marketing their own game by creating adventures for it. Yeah, it was greed, pure and simple greed, right? I mean, it's just greed. They thought these guys are stealing. Greg Gillespie's stealing money. No, he's not. He's not stealing money from you. He created a product that that is going to make money for him and you in the long run because they're going to have to buy your rule books, right?
But Paizo was stealing money from them. Troll Lord Games, Frog God Games, anyone that could have a Shadow Dark, right? When Shadow Dark came out, think of the money that WotC would have gotten from that revised OGL. By the way, this paragraph from this article is insightful. Just keep going seems to be important for D&D's new era, as the core rulebook show don't tell mantra. Time will tell as Wizards of the Coast begins to roll out further information on mechanics and rules that have changed definitively, which I could put it another way, substantially, in the coming weeks and months. Just how easy it will be for more players. Wait a second. How easy it will be for more players than ever to just keep going. In other words, You can keep your campaign going. You just got to convert. But Dungeons and Dragons is hoping at least that continuity of what came before rather than outright invalidation. In other words, again, doing what they have historically done.
Right.
All right. Third edition was you could see the roots in the end of second edition, but fourth edition was the idea of we're going to just keep the D20 and throw everything else and start anew because the OGL is dangerous. And the OGL was dangerous. The OGL allowed third edition to live on. It's still living on if you look at Pathfinder.
Right.
So now they're realizing they can't do that again.
Yeah.
Because 5e exists with the OGL. Mike and I could name, we see it with Kobold Press, right? They're coming out with their own 5e.
Yeah.
There's a number of companies that are coming out with their own version of 5e. The moment the OGL was going to shit the bed, Mike and I could tell you that there were probably a half dozen companies that were talking about putting their own fifth edition game out to keep that system resource available for publishers, available for players. Okay? So this is WotC realizing, all right, we're putting out a new game, and you're gonna have to get the new rules to enjoy all the new content, but it isn't that hard to convert from the old to the new. And if you needed to, you could kind of shoehorn old shit into the new, so your games don't have to end. Because now another thing to remember too, from third edition to fourth, and even from fourth edition to fifth, you had a campaign going in third edition. It was over. You're gonna play 4e. You couldn't convert it, and you couldn't convert from 4e to fifth edition. Okay, you could convert from first to second. And I think they're trying to give you that illusion that it's still 5e because they don't want to lose the base that they've built. Before, they figured people were loyal to the brand. I think they're realizing people are loyal to the system.
Yeah.
And they have to find a way to keep the system while still getting you to buy new books to make money. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. It's to make money. And again, you can pre-order through D&D Beyond.
Yay.
Here, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. And can I make this one go? I can't. I can't make the cookie statement go away.
No, it won't go. It won't go away.
But you can order the digital and physical bundle starting at $29. Yeah, no, you can't. Okay, it's $179.97.
Yow!
And content, and they're saying, you're saving $60. Whatever they're saying, the digital content has a certain value. Now, I'm going to tell you this, and I am not an advocate for piracy, but I'm going to guarantee you within 24 hours after the first book is out, which is what, the Player's Handbook?
Right.
Within 24 hours, somebody's going to have PDF'd their D&D Beyond file, and it'll be up everywhere. So I would think that WotC would be wise to start selling PDFs on this one, because most people who would want a digital version don't want it to be locked into D&D Beyond. I think people would buy it, and it's gonna, and the PDFs are still going to be out there.
But Eric, so do we still at this point? I'm sure they're playtesting the VTT, right? They have to be playtesting. Do we know if we know what is? I mean,
all right.
Is it any, I mean, what do we know about it? Is it any good? I mean, what if it's not any good? We don't know. Just because they're playtesting it doesn't mean it's any good.
Okay. Well, you should be able to see this now because I screwed up before.
Okay.
Get free shipping and these exclusive digital bonuses.
Digital, not
now, folks. I'm going to use plain English for you. Digital, virtual, not real.
Yes.
Okay, not physical. You can get a Dragons of D&D digital art book.
Okay, not a real book, digital.
Ooh, ooh, digital art book. Okay,
You don't
but
really own it. You don't really own it. Okay.
but you can only read it on D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Likely, it won't be PDF.
Okay. Yeah.
D&D Beyond Gold digital dice set. So
Doesn't
you
exist
want
in the real world. Yeah, you don't really own it. It's
so
not
you'll own this digital. Now remember, and this is just my humble opinion. But once a digital product is created, there's no cost to the company. It's not like they got to
no.
include golden colored dice in your package when you get your player's handbook. No, no. Here's a code with 17
Right.
characters on it to input into D&D Beyond to get your digital dice. And oh, this is special. 50th anniversary digital gold dragon mini releasing with the closed beta of the upcoming 3D virtual tabletop. Now, what does that insinuate though, Mike?
That insinuates that they are playtesting it. If it's a closed
No.
beta, it's being
Well,
playtested.
closed beta is just that, closed. They're insinuating that you have a chance to be in this closed beta because the only way you get this
Mm.
gold dragon mini is in the closed beta of the upcoming 3D virtual tabletop, which, by the way, they're not even naming. You'd think it would have a name by now.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
not no,
this
no.
so I think Blackosaurus says something that's interesting. I think a lot of people under 40 are pretty comfortable with spending real money on digital crap. Never been my thing, but I've watched plenty of my peers spend real money. That's true because look, nowadays you don't really own computer games. You download them. If you have the Xbox Series S that I have, you download them. You don't own a disc for your game. You own an account that you can access that disc, but anytime they want, they could probably take that away, right? The same as
Yeah,
when you have
you
streaming
don't
movies,
own it.
streaming music, anything streaming you don't really own. And I'll tell you how I figured this out the hard way 2 years ago when I lost my Kindle account. So I had a Kindle account through Amazon that had probably about 300 books on it at least. And
Oh, I
I had an
remember this.
issue. Yeah, an issue with Amazon. Somebody stole my password, and the only way to get my account back was basically to close my account, and then they could reissue me an account under my name. The problem is they did not tell me at the time that when I closed my account, I would no longer have access to my Kindle books, the ones I paid for. 300 books. Now some were free, but a lot of them I paid for over the past however many years since Kindle started. I lost access to every single one of those books, and there was nothing they could do about it. They told me every time I called them, they said, "Oh, sorry, that account's closed. You have to start over. We're not going to give you any credit for that." Blah blah. I mean, I talked to people ad nauseum. So I told my grandson, I tell him this all the time, is when you own something streaming, you don't really own it. You do not own something that's streaming.
You rent it.
Movies, books, whatever, and you don't own it. And so, as Slackstar said, that the kids nowadays are basically they just kind of shrug the shoulders and say, "Well, I just don't own it. Oh well, whatever."
Right.
And they're okay with it for the most part. They're okay with it.
You can own PDFs, right? You can own a PDF,
Yeah.
but you don't own your material in D&D Beyond. You're essentially
Right.
you own it until they tell you you don't. TXG says in the live stream that aired just recently said the players can't mix the player's handbook for 5e and the new release, but somehow the new release is supposed to be 5e compatible. Yep.
Okay.
By the way, Rob, I just put up the link earlier, but I put it up again for the Gizmodo article. I'm just going to go through the chats real quickly here.
But anyway, I would say that's I try to tell young people this is that and a lot of them don't understand that you don't really own your material, but they're okay with it because that's just how they've grown up. They've grown up to not to expect to own their material, and then they're just like, okay, well, I don't own material. We whatever. If I lose, I know people that have bought the same game 2 or 3 times because they've had to switch they switched from PlayStation to an Xbox to PC to whatever, and they've had to buy the game every time. They don't have a problem with it. Like, I had to buy the game again, whatever. Or something happened to me, like they lose their account, like gets stolen, or maybe their Xbox gets stolen. They didn't remember the number on it, and so they lose they lose that account. They just start over again. Like, I just start over.
Well, and
It's no
here's the
big
thing.
deal.
Here's the thing too. Even with your digital content that you buy and purchase, right? You buy it on drive-through. You don't own it until you've downloaded it. Okay. Case in point. Do you remember when Watsy, the very same fuckers we're talking about right now? Hey, my first F bomb of the night. Um,
Not the
these
last, bro.
fuckers, okay, they decided once they had material up on drive-throughs, like about a decade ago, they got into the oh my god, people are sharing, they're pirating our stuff. Well, we're going to remove it. We're not just going to stop selling PDFs.
Yep.
You had,
Right.
I think it was maybe 24 hours notice to download everything in your catalog, or it was gone. And it didn't, and it was gone permanently until Watson decided to start selling on drive-through again years later. So
And see,
think about
I had a lot of material there. By the way, but I had already downloaded it. Every time I got a PDF from them, I would download it. So I already owned the download. So when that happened, I just laughed and flipped them the middle finger. So yeah, you can take it off all you want. I still got it. But I remember when that happened. Yeah, and it was off. It was offline for what, a few years. It was years when you could until you could buy that stuff again because they were so freaked out about piracy. They pulled everything. And guess what? And you guess what? You still could go to Pirate Bay and get it all, Eric. It was all there. It was out there. You just had to get it illegally. But there was enough people uploading that stuff that you could still get it. So
yes, Mr.
the only
Gunn,
people
Facebook.
it was preventing, or the only people that were prevented from getting it was people who were too honest to use Pirate Bay or
Yes,
one of those services.
and that's huge. Um, wow, you guys are awesome. I gotta say, guys,
Yeah.
gals. But I'm just playing catch up. I was too busy
Yeah.
with the article in
Good.
front of me on the screen
By the
than
way,
to see.
good comments for my. By the way, I apologize. I had to eat something because I was having a little sugar that I just noticed.
Oh,
But
gee,
so
Mike,
I
hold on a sec.
apologize. Oh, no,
Hold
I'm
on a sec.
okay. I'm okay now. I
No, no,
apologize.
no, no.
Apologize for
I had the same thing go on. Um,
that.
right now I'm at 77, but
Oh, that's kind of, dude. You're
I
low, dude.
I went down. I went under 70. It went off and had to
Yeah,
open up my Noid. My
that's right on the
Noid blood
IFT. That's
test.
right on the IFT scale. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was around there myself. So that's how upset we are. Our sugars are dropping. Just talking about this stuff, it
God
drops our
damn,
sugars. So
I'm all upset. I'm gonna take Watsy out with a punch to the right and an uppercut and the whole thing.
But I mean, my take up. So I read this thing here. My take out with this article, or takeaway from it, was I think a lot of Sound and Fury signifying nothing. There was I don't. All Jerry Crawford was saying is this game's going to be awesome. You're going to love it, and he wasn't really giving anything away or explaining anything or telling you anything. And I think
No.
that's what we're going to see a lot of articles like that until the player's handbook comes out. They're just going to tell you this is so cool and it's awesome. You're going to love it, but there's going to be very little on the stick there. They're not really going to let you know anything. And so I just always, these are just puff pieces. All this is a puff piece. This is something they probably paid for this article, paid for placement, and then they're just going to, and you're going to pretend like people like us are going to talk about it for 30 minutes, but there's really nothing we can say because we don't know what's going on. So.
Yep. Wow. I'm still not caught up. How is this even possible? My heart's verklempt.
Star Drive disappeared. Drive through RPG. Yeah. Hopefully you like I said, I have everything downloaded. And I've got these giant, massive files now that just follow me from computer to computer. So I'm not losing that stuff again. Sorry. Well, no, I'm not listening to Village People. I'm a Casey and the Sunshine Band guy, man. Not Village People. No Village People.
By the way, just as an aside, if you happen to order that bundle, they're saying that you're going to be playing on their VTT because otherwise that Gold Dragon is useless, right?
Yeah.
So they're not giving shit
Well, I mean,
away.
the dice are useless also unless you're going to play online. So I mean, that's obviously assuming you're playing online. I mean,
yeah. So this is they're not giving anything away. They're bringing you into their new market, and you think that you're being given something, a gift, but really you're being assimilated. And that's right, wrong,
Well, look at all the Adobe crap that's going on this week and how that shook out
oh
for
my
everybody. I
God.
mean, that's to say, look, you're going to have more and more companies. They're going to make sure you don't really own anything, except you own the right to own your stuff. You don't really own it,
Right.
Um,
Well, here's the thing. Adobe didn't say that they own your stuff. Adobe says they have the right to use your stuff without
yeah,
compensation to improve their software. But what software are we talking about? AI.
AI.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to
And
learn from your software to spit out other
right,
software. Yeah.
right. And how do I know that? Well, because I was having a conversation at North Texas with one of the game publishers out there.
Oh, oh,
And we were talking. We'll probably have him on the show. But uh, Ben Burns was saying he's working on basically like a paranoia clone or simulacrum.
right.
And
Zeta complex. Yeah, Zeta complex. Yeah,
it sounds awesome. And he really has
yeah.
he does some good work. And
But
he
which,
was
by the way,
saying,
he asked Paranoia to if he could rewrite Paranoia using the rules because nobody's using it. They said no, and he said okay, and he did whatever any good blood red blooded American citizen will do. He went and just made his own version. Oh, yeah, I just made my own
yeah,
version. Then thanks, but no thanks. And now they're not getting any compensation, which is stupid. That's just how dumb some companies are. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eric. So
yeah, no. So, and he was saying because of the game that he's working on, because of the computer, AI art is actually kind of, you know, fits it. Well, guess what? According to the Kickstarter rules, if AI art is not being trained off of material, if the AI art's being trained off of material that the AI has the rights to, it's legit. It
right,
can be used. Well, who's if you are using Adobe Photoshop, you're giving it the right to use your work to train its AI. I am not an AI expert. I'm not going to get into the argument of is AI a tool? Is it a fake artist? Is it a
right.
real? I don't care. This is, and then when Adobe tried to clarify things, they didn't clarify it with a change to the license. They clarified it on a blog post. I write
Mm,
blog posts, okay? Blog
yeah,
posts are not a legally binding document.
no,
And Rob has a point. Don't use their cloud storage.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, you have the
Uh, but
license.
I
That's
mean,
fine.
this is probably beyond the purview of this channel. But how long before it? And see, look. This is what the beauty of the OGL is, and the beauty of the OSR is that this stuff can always exist. If you have a book and a folder with all your D&D notes in it, like this, they can't take this away from me. You can't take away my sky. You cannot take away my D&D campaign because I've got a book and I've got that. Everything you put online though is only yours as long as they want it to remain yours. Everything
Yep.
else, everything up here and everything on sheets of paper and on books is yours forever. And that's why that's why we need to support the OSR and support the small publishers that publish under the OSR because that stuff is going to be good forever. It doesn't matter if somebody wants to change something going forward, you can still play that set of rules forever and ever and ever. So,
Yep. I'm going to correct Mr. Gunn. It's not on Humble Bundle. It's actually on Bundle of Holding.
bundle of holding, yeah.
So
Just a little different there.
just a wee bit, just a wee bit. Um, let's see. Rob, unless you and me and stuff, entire photos full of stuff from the early '90s.
Rob. I have a file cabinet in my closet, and I'm not kidding, Rob. I'll tell you this: I have every single campaign I've run for the last almost 50 years. I have all the spiral notebooks I used. I have the folders. I have the characters. Everything. I did not throw anything away. I just put them in this box, and then now, when my wife moved in here 20 years ago, I stuck them in a file cabinet. I rarely pull them out, look at them every once I do, just for laughs. But I have them all. They're all there, and they're not going anywhere. Meanwhile, a lot of stuff I put online at that time, I remember I used to use Blogspot, and I had two of my campaigns on Blogspot. Well, I managed to copy the entries. Blogspot, I guess Blogspot isn't around anymore. I can't find any of my stuff. I can't find my old pages. Put it that way. Maybe became unused or whatever. But that stuff's all gone now.
Yeah, I still
But
use
I still.
Blogger is what the engine behind my blog. So all right, maybe we'll stop. Maybe we'll step away from Moxie. Should we step away from Moxie, Mike?
Yeah, it's kicking them around's fun, but we can do that anytime.
We got more kicking we can do, but I'm just saying we will just. So this was sent to me.
Oh, that's right.
By a friend in the community, a publisher, and they reached out to a man named Seth Gorkowski. Now Seth has he's apparently a writer. He's got like 122,000.
He's won 2 Ennies. He's won 2 Ennies for online content.
Yeah,
he's an Ennie winner.
I
wasn't familiar with him, but he has a pretty good amount of followers. What, 120,000 or something?
Yeah.
So he's got a pretty good amount of followers.
So this individual reached out, wanted to know, hey, how can I get my products covered on your channel? And by the way, the response is like a form letter response. Okay, let's just be honest. Thanks for reaching out. My name is blank with blank talent agency. I represent Seth. Well, we already know where this is going if there's a talent agency representing your YouTube personality. Seth is offering paid promo spots with his next available date being October. I've included his rate and demos below for your reference. Seth Skorkowski demos. $1,000 US denomination, US dollars, for 60 seconds. $1,500 for a dedicated video.
Mother of that's okay. There's somebody that's making money from this business. We always say there's nobody making money in the RPG business. Seth is making money. Yeah. So I saw in Seth's thing that he says he does not accept money for reviews. So I would suspect he's getting away with this by saying these aren't reviews, correct? Here it is. Yeah, here's his channel description.
Channel description: author, game master, lover of nerdly things. I thought it'd be nerdy things, but nerdly things.
Well, nerdly's okay.
Oh, nerdly. My channel has won the 2019 and 2023 Gold Any Tabletop Award.
Nice.
I mostly talk about tabletop RPGs. My sidekick is Jack the NPC. This sounds like something you'd see on I don't know, Match.com back in the day. I love dogs and I'm allergic to cats. My vices are alcohol. No. Review policy. All right. Well, this is good. They're giving you a review policy.
Okay. All right.
I don't review a game unless I've personally played it.
That's a good policy. Good policy.
That's okay. I won't play it unless I believe it is a good fit for my group. In short, I review what we play and we play what we enjoy. I do not do sponsored reviews, paid infomercials pretending to be reviews. Peter watches the channel. So, Peter, you can tell us when he does like his little like sponsored ads, does he say that he's getting paid for it and getting compensation for it, or is it just, hey, I'm gonna do a full episode on I don't know, Toledo ate my baby and not reveal he made $1,500 off that episode. I don't watch it. Never even heard of this person until now, which tells you how much I pay attention to the enemies. But sending me a free product is in no way guarantees a positive review. Good. Or even a review at all. That's fine. If I read it and don't think it's a good fit for us, we won't play it. Or it might not fit to our play schedule or current campaign. If you wish to request a review, pitch it. Tell me on why I want to play it. 90% of the review requests I receive fail to say what the game adventure even is.
So, well, the problem is, he say that he just can get away with saying, well, these aren't reviews,
right?
They're just I'm just talking about. I don't, and that's all I can say. Getting away with that. It's just calling it something else and doing it. No, I'm going to give you a positive spin though on something. I didn't know this guy from Adam, But I noticed his videos did not have clickbaity titles, which speaks well of him, because how many times do you see the end of D&D? What happened this week in WotC will forever change the way the game is. I'll be like, oh my god, I've got to watch this, find out what the end of D&D is, and it's never the end of D&D.
It's never what you think it is.
No. And so he doesn't do any clickbaity titles, which is good. That says that he's just getting people naturally and not trying to hit you with some clickbaity bullshit. So,
and listen, he may certainly do legit reviews. My feeling, and I've said this before, and obviously I don't do this for a living, so I don't have to sell my soul. I'm not saying Seth is, but Mike, I, and my fellow co-hosts, we don't do sponsorships. We don't do paid ads.
No, you can't do that. Remain. You can't do that. Remain. It's impossible. If at that point you start taking paid stuff, then you're just, at that point. I mean, like our buddy Glenn, he gets stuff sent to him, and so if he reads it, he reads it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I mean, like I said, once you start getting paid for stuff, you can't be trusted to make an impartial review.
Right, and again, if the channel was to do a sponsorship, it would be to benefit North Texas RPG. All right, and I already speak highly of the damn con. So if somebody said, "Hey, I want to sponsor the show," and just say, "Hey, XYZ Games is sponsoring today's episode with the money going to North Texas," because I'm not going to take the money. All right, and I've been asked, sometimes seriously, how much does it cost to come on our show and make an appearance? And I'm like, as much as asking, I'll tell you the truth.
We're not charging enough. We're not charging anything. It's not enough.
You don't charge anything. Many times, I'll talk to a creator because they go, "Hey, I got a new Kickstarter coming up. Just want to bring it to your attention. Maybe you can take a look at it, and if you like it, maybe you'll post about it." And I'll look at it and go, "Hey, I actually like it. Maybe you should come on our show." We're not looking to make any recompense off it. We don't get any money for bringing our guests on, and trust me, the $2 to $4 a day I make off of YouTube advertising isn't going to make a difference if it wasn't there.
Right.
All right. So we're allowed to bring you the content that we think our viewers, our audience, will enjoy, without worrying about whether or not our sponsor is going to approve of it, or whether or not I said the right things about a product.
Right. Yeah, because it creates expectations too. I mean, look, you could always say, well, you can't tell what kind of review to leave, but the minute you start leaving negative reviews, somebody pays you money, is the minute you're going to stop getting money from people, because they're going to say, well, why am I paying for a negative review? And so really there's an expectation there, no matter what happens, that you're going to leave a positive review. So,
right.
True or not, I mean, you can be the most honest guy in the world and say, nope, I'm just going to leave a review how I think. But the minute you take $1,000 from somebody, leave a negative review, that's probably not going to happen anymore, because they're going to say, wait, why am I giving you money for bad reviews? So,
I mean, listen, this goes back to the N-World days, where N-World was, well, first off, they were having affiliate links and weren't revealing that they had affiliate links, which was a no-no, according to, I believe it was the FTC.
Yeah.
But even more abhorrent, and thankfully it ended, and it ended when a certain individual was no longer associated with them. I'm not going to mention their name. But it ended because there was an article for a product, and I'll mention the company because they had no idea. They paid for an advertising article, and it was supposed to be labeled as such, but it was labeled as news. And that was Steve Jackson Games. And I reached out and I was like, what is this? Actually, I reached out to Phil Reed. And I was like, Phil, why does this read like an ad, but it's showing up as news? And he was like, what the F? And then he's like, yeah, that's never happening again. Because companies want to be legit. And no company wants to get into fugazi stuff. And I believe that people like Morris want to be legit, but it's often
Right.
people that are one or two steps below the person who's hands off that are looking at ways to increase their money in their pockets.
Right.
Now,
Right.
there are YouTube channels out there that certainly do paid advertising, and I don't know if they always make it clear that it's a paid advertising. I prefer to watch. I watch a lot of things with paid advertising, and when people go, and now I have to sell you something, or now's the bit where, you know,
Right.
we keep the lights on. You can make it. You can be funny about how you admit that it's advertising. I don't care. But when you run an ad and it's obviously an ad, and you don't indicate it as an ad, and again, I haven't watched this channel. I don't know how he does it, but it certainly price wise is huge. Obviously, it's doing well for him because he's booked through October.
Yeah, he's doing making some money off it for sure. If he's truly booked that long, that's,
God bless. I just, if you want to have integrity, if you want to be able to report on what's reportable and what's legit, then you have to. I do affiliate links. I don't have one up for this, but that's how the show makes the money that goes into getting Mike his next headset when his cat destroys this one.
Yay!
Or got Glenn his microphone. This is what I know. Maybe get a real green screen behind my head. I'll have to hang it from my ceiling. But that's the whole thing. It goes back to the show, and I don't feel like I'm beholden to a certain publisher or a certain creator or a certain entity because I took their money. I'm beholden to the community because I'm taking your money. Wow. You're giving me your money. Okay. And I think that's a more ethical way, at least for me.
I agree.
Yes, I saw they wrote a number of Blue. I saw he wrote a number of novels. Haven't read them. All right. Okay.
Well, a lot of these guys that pop up. Yeah, a lot of these guys they've written something or another, and then most people have never read them unless you're on their friends list or somebody maybe you bought one book and then they put you on their mailing list. But that's not unusual. I see a lot of these guys have written sci-fi fantasy series I've never heard
of. John Miller, Seth's alleged agent said the price of a full video is $1,500. This implies that Seth is not creating insert ads and genuine review videos, but whole videos that are bought and paid for. Again, I mean, my source on this is impeccable. We were both kind of like, what the fuck? Now, and again, I know other YouTube creators certainly do paid advertising. And listen, they do a lot better in presentation than this channel will ever do. This channel, you're not paying to make things look pretty on this channel. All right, you're paying for if you're paying a half a cent a view or whatever the hell it is, even if that to look at my pretty face. And God knows why. Actually, you're not paying it. You're probably just watching a video. Marcelo, welcome. You okay when we insult you in the community?
Why not?
Gun. Let me explain to you. Let me explain. I don't want to hurt your intelligence when I explain to you, but I get insulted by the community all the time, and most of it is taken in jest. There are a few real trolls out there, but they're not part of the community, right? They're just trolls and assholes. When you insult me, I know it's mostly in jest. Part of it's jealousy. I understand that. It's okay. We understand.
Who wouldn't be jealous of us? Come on. We're living the life, man. We're living the life. Drugs, sex, booze, games out forever. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Okay.
This life
Well,
is
Seth's
crazy.
last video, backup and replacement characters, has a clearly designated ad for Draconis. This is
Interesting.
perfectly ethical. Yeah, and listen, Professor DM does similar, right? I don't know. I've never asked Dan what he charges. Does anyone know a video Seth did where the whole video is paid for? I don't know, but if I'm paying 1,000 for a minute or 1,500 for a full video, I think I would ask for a full video if I was going to spend that amount of money.
No kidding. Yeah, I don't want 60 seconds, man.
Mr. Gunn, this channel is not even up to public access standards.
It's
Public
true.
access no standards.
I've seen public access in the 70s. There was better than this channel. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, Uncle Floyd. That was in New York. Then he went. Then he went. I think U68 or something like that. But yeah, the local. Listen, we bring. You just wait till we start bringing in top of the line guests. All right.
Oh yeah. So one of these days, yeah.
Well, actually, this summer we got some pretty good guests.
We've actually had some top of the line guys.
Yeah.
We've actually had some top of the line guys last few years, so
but
we're used to it. We've lived it.
We have some good guests coming up for this summer.
I just talked to somebody today that said that they would love to come on later this year when their Kickstarter opens up. Who's been on our show before? Who's a really prolific writer? So.
Oh, so Mr. Gunn is jealous of me.
Wow. Mike. You should feel sorry for me. Poor guy here. I'm getting upstaged by Eric every show as he big times me. That's true.
It's the big time. Uncle Floyd was great. Yeah, Peter. I found Uncle Floyd late in the Uncle Floyd.
So what is Uncle Floyd? Okay, tell me what Uncle Floyd is. I'm lost here. What's Uncle Floyd?
Uncle Floyd was a TV personality that, you know what, he would have fit in alongside of like the characters in Wayne's World, kind of. But he just, I don't know if he qualified as a nerd, but he certainly was someone that was kind of out of touch ish. And sadly, I caught him near the end and I didn't catch a lot of them. And it's been probably like 35 years, 40 years. I couldn't tell you much about Uncle Floyd at this point. Just remember his hat. Nobody was wearing hats. He was wearing a hat, like that real hat from like the 50s, or is it the 40s?
Right.
The closest to televised vaudeville. Yeah, it was bizarre. It was just,
So was it regional, just like upstate New York or New York area?
I think it was regional. I think he got on a few stations in the Northeast that were really low. They weren't on a very strong broadcast frequency. A fedora, it could have been a fedora. What do I know from fedoras? Do I look like I know fedoras?
Nothing wrong with fedoras. Nothing wrong with those hats. They're awesome.
Yeah, he was a comedian, did skits. Local. Oh yeah, I forgot the local bands. Yes, he was out of Jersey, which explains a lot. It really does. All right, so now I think I am going to put up some more stupid because, and this is stupid that, I mean, I've already covered this stupidity, but there's a little extra that we can throw into this.
No, never hurts to have too much stupidity.
No. And I personally think that this individual enjoys the attention anyway. So all right. So this was on a certain Gamers on Games.
Oh dear.
Dave Simpson's channel. This is when we were all at North Texas, and
Mhm.
I guess as he's known in the community now, Vagina Man. We assume it's a male.
Yeah, good
VG819.
bet. Good bet. Good bet.
But Vagina Man, um, do a story on North Texas RPG Con. And by the way, it's always a demand. I think I said that before, but it's always a demand.
Never
You
asked
do
me.
this.
Yeah.
Never ask. Hey, why don't you do a story? Do a story. Yesterday, police showed up to arrest Don from Wizardtown
Oh,
Games. He
dear
fled.
Lord.
No one knows where he is right now. Bad
Right
Mike
into the
and
hall.
Tenkar
Yeah.
are hiding the story.
Oh yeah. We took up for him. That's right. I forgot. Yeah.
Bad Mike. Bad Mike.
Never happened. No, Don was never at the con. It just never happened, folks.
Right.
I'm sorry that this is even here. It's ridiculous.
But
not just that fact it was left up there so long.
It was left up there for so long. But not only that, when it went up there and I was seeing, I commented on it and said this is bullshit. It never happened. Don commented on it and said it was bullshit. It never happened. So guess what? My comment gets deleted. Don's
Oh.
But Gamers on Games, David, I may be an asshole Simpson. I'm just throwing it out there. It hasn't been proven yet. It's allegedly an asshole.
Yeah, it's allegedly.
Yeah, you have a link to this? I need an article to start with. Thanks.
Like a newspaper article about what happened in North Texas. I mean, obviously
Right.
the cops came in. He made a run for it. Was knocking over fruit baskets and fruit barrels like the old timey shows.
He took out
knocked over
the D&D balloons, Mike. He took it out.
Oh my god.
And I like Ampolator.
So ludicrous. It never happens.
You are a moron, and I don't know who he was calling a moron. Was it Vagina Man or the potential asshole? Not sure which one. Well, but I think they both are morons in this case. So this goes back and forth, and what's amazing is this back and forth takes place over a week and a half. Okay, a week and a half.
All the while this post is up. So
yeah. So now, right that first day, Dave Simpson's like, I haven't heard back from you, Vagina Man. If you have something, please get it to me. If not, then I think this posting needs to go.
Oh boy.
2 days later, I owe you nothing. Your Calva wife and nasty little kid deserve better. Hide the fact as you are a loser coward. Now, if somebody was harassing my family, I wouldn't leave this up. I would be like, you know what, fuck you. But Jackass leaves this up. And he leaves this up for a very important reason. He's hoping behind the hope that he will get this information. He already said
somehow true. It's somehow true.
Somehow true. He's not playing me. I'm playing him. I'm smarter than Vagina Man. No, you're not. I mean, most of the world is. But Dave, you're not. All right? That's quite simple. So why is asking for evidence I can cite instigating this kind of response? Because of who you're dealing with.
Dave, come on, man. He can't be that stupid. He can't be that naive. He just wanted to believe it so bad. He wanted to believe it so bad that it was true.
So he comes back. Dave, 6 days later, is like, maybe haven't heard back from you. Any evidence for me? Any other news I should know about? Do you have any? Maybe this isn't real. Maybe you have something else that's going on that you can falsely allege people of. Can you? You do. I'll leave it up on my channel too because I'm that much of a cuck. I mean, that seems to me what he's saying. Ampolor comes back with, "It never happened, you liar." And Dave, I doubt I'll get an answer. He sounds like a forlorn woman. God. I doubt I'll get an answer.
He's snubbed. He got snubbed by his long lost love online, JLN.
Yeah.
Yes.
You kept my comments up. You did the work for me.
Oh, hey, in other words, you're a useful idiot. I liked it when you were a useful idiot. That was
Uh
awesome.
huh.
Thanks,
So then,
useful idiot. That was great.
did what work for you? You keep posting in vaguities, vaguities,
Vague UI. Vague UI.
vaguities, rather than definitives. I don't think you're making the statements or impacts you think you are.
Yeah.
Well, with Dave, you certainly gave him a platform. You gave him a soapbox, and it's because you were hoping that people that you feel are, I don't know, politically not aligned with you, you were going to have dirt on from somebody who was probably as politically far from you as could ever be.
And by the way, speaking of our pop in the chat here, the guy popped in Ty Beard. Ty Beard was going to get a call from me this week because look at the original listing up there and how long it stood up there. It mentioned myself
Uh-huh.
and Eric committing illegal activity. We were hiding a somebody who was wanted by a warrant at North Texas, which it mentions. This was up for almost a week. That is besmirching my good name, fellows, and
Yeah.
by saying that Eric and I were committing a crime. And so I was going to. Ty Beaver was going to get a little call the morning after between his morning coffee and his morning cupcake. He was going to get a little call saying, can we send this guy a letter at least? Just say, hey, you may want to take that down because it's absolutely false, and you are hurting
Mike,
the reputation of the convention.
Did you make that comment?
I made that comment on Don Samora's blog because Don Samora said that
Wow.
he did send a legal.
I would believe that Don does have an attorney.
And then he said he sent it, and I said put right underneath there. I said that that's interesting because I've been thinking about doing the same thing, and then not an hour later, this was taken down. After both Don and I threatened really very vague legal action, it was taken down because look, this guy he's not only a moron, he's a coward. And look, the last time he went off the air for about 6 months or whatever, it's because he effed around and found out with Victor Dorso by calling him a neo-Nazi and saying his convention was for neo-Nazis. And he got more than a sternly worded letter from Mr. Dorso. And because of this, he disappeared for a little while and hid underneath the bed, hoping that the boogeyman would run away. And remember that he shut his whole page down. He shut his YouTube page down, everything.
Yeah. Well, listen, and I'm going to make a truthful statement. I am looking forward to meeting Dave at Page in January. He's a special guest, so maybe we'll have our seats next to each other for the dinner.
I commend Ron. Look, Ron's doing a good job of finding many type of guests from all kinds of fantasy, sci-fi, gaming, streaming. Ron, I would never tell anybody how to choose guests for their con because if somebody told me how to choose guests, I'd laugh in their face. But man, I don't know what this person has done to be actually considered special guest status. He has a YouTube channel that vaguely covers games, but it's mostly political stuff where he rails against conservatives. And so it's at least half the contents of that. And the other half is clickbait stuff where he basically he fights Warhammer fans over stuff. And he doesn't really seem to have a lot of gaming knowledge or, like I said, I don't know what the criteria is for choosing special guests. And I'm sure that we have some special guests that people would look at and go, well, why is that guy a special guest? But I just don't see what the draw. I mean, does this guy have a fan club that's going to show up at the con? So you kind of have to have is he like a draw or something? I mean, I can see, look, Eric's a draw. I mean, he is. I'm sorry.
That's pushing it. Well, I don't know if I draw. I'll gather some attention when I'm there, certainly. I don't know if people are going to go to the con just to go, oh my God, Tenkar is there. Awesome.
That's like the Beatles, and they all start running to the hotel.
People will go to a con to meet Kelsey. She's worth meeting.
Yeah, if you're standing here and Kelsey's here and the door's open, the crowd goes, ah, they all run to Kelsey. And then you're sitting here and I walk up to you and say hi to you, and everybody else is fanboying and fangirling over Kelsey, who, by the way, is absolutely deserves that because she is an amazing guest, an amazing person, and she is at Origins this week. And if you're at Origins, was it this weekend or was it next weekend? Was it last weekend?
I have no
Oh
idea.
gosh, I'm mixed up. Anyway, if you see her at a con, go up and say hi to her. She is she's totally genuine, man. She is a genuine person. She will be happy. She'll act like she's happy to talk to you and see you, and she probably really is. Whereas Eric and I will go, we'll barely tolerate you if you come say hi to us. We'll be like, oh God, yeah, whatever. Hey Gun, what's up, Gun? You know, that's no, but Kelsey is an absolute genuine person. She's amazing, and definitely if you're at a convention, she's there, go up and say hi to her. That's the kind of special guest you need, or the wow factor.
Right.
Not this other guy who I'm not going you notice I haven't mentioned his name yet because I'm not giving him any props at all about anything. Because I think he likes his name mentioned. I think he enjoys having his name mentioned. But, you know, who's he bringing in? I mean, it's a great special guest. I don't know. Maybe he runs a bunch of games and he's just amazing. And people are just like, wow, man, it's just so cool you're here. But I just don't see it, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But nobody asked me. No, you know, Ron didn't consult with me, and nor should he. This is his con, not mine. But that's the kind of guy I don't have at my con because I'm looking at him going, okay, where's the sizzle? Where's the steak? There's no sizzle. There's no steak. There's nothing here. You know, so. Oh boy.
If you're at Origin, stop by booth 1019 on Saturday and Sunday. Tell JT,
okay.
You saw him. You saw his comment on Talking Crit. Yeah, get them talking about Talking Crit at the Origins. Come on.
Nice. Yeah, Origins. I'll make it there one of these days before I die. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see.
I missed this. Gamers on Games practically got booted from the StarCon.
It sounds like there's such a story here that we don't. Have I heard this story? I don't know.
We probably have to ask Joe Block. Joe would probably know. I think
let's Joe. Let's Joe that. Yeah, he practically got booted. Well, I wouldn't be surprised because he does manage to. He kind of runs his channel is pretty much a clickbait. So.
Yeah. I mean, to each their own. It reminds me of another channel of a GM that is very
not nice,
not nice, not the not nice GM.
Okay, look,
subscribers and very few views.
He actually has but that guy you're talking about actually has content on his channel. This other guy has no content at all, except just to create trouble. At least the not so nice guy you're talking about has content. He does have content. Now he only has 35 hits of video, but he has content.
Right. Dave Simpson is the guy's name. He literally cheered when someone got attacked at Gen Con. Oh yeah, when Jeremy got attacked.
Oh no, is this the what's his name? I know you're talking about, yeah. Which still didn't make any sense because it was outside of a bar, and this guy comes up and starts wailing on him, and they both get banned from Gen Con, which doesn't make any sense.
I'm the victim.
I'm assaulted. I just got banned from Gen Con. What? But hey, if you play in Gen Con's backyard, they're going to take their toys and they're going to send you home too. So, but that always struck me as I didn't get that one either. That the Jeremy's just walking around and this wife beats him up and like, oh, you're both banned. Like, man, what? Huh?
But what did I do? You got beat up.
You should have had those strong opinions that got you beat up outside the bar that time.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, he was with He was with Alex Gygax at the time, and I actually got a firsthand account from Alex Gygax what happened. So yeah, he was actually absolutely not in the wrong at all. The guy just came up to him and just started punching him. So because it's punch a Nazi time, right? Even if he's not a Nazi, just punch a guy.
Was later on the Gamma board, and he was the attacker. Oh,
I believe the attacker has been banned from Gen Con going forward, though. So But then again, so is what's his name? So, oops.
The quartering.
Yep, one of my
Quarter.
favorite quotes. My favorite quotes from Doctor Strangelove: "No fighting in the war room, gentlemen. Why are you fighting? This is the war room. No fighting in the war room." Yes, so that was weird. Never got that. Never understood that. But I also never understand why this other guy is a guest at cons. But maybe he puts on a hell of a show. I don't know. Maybe he does a real clickbaity seminar or something that's really crazy.
Well, that would be interesting.
So Matt had full access restored to Gen Con. Oh, it's always nice when you have somebody who's accused of assault. That hey, come on back, man. Come on back. That's good.
Damn, Mark. Shows like this get my blood sugar boiling.
I know. I still have a lot of sugar.
More time for candy. Well,
Yeah,
Germany
I'm
is
not
still
trying
banned.
to stay away from the candy. Oh yeah, Matt Fantastic. That was his name. I was trying to remember who that dude was. Matt
You're
Fantastic.
right.
Does he still work for anybody? I mean, what's his deal? Well, anyway, he's around doing something somewhere. So
Oh, they always, listen. Even the one who did the misdeeds at N World survived to get another job, and then survived to get another job. And I think they've
well,
done.
what about the guys that had the what about the guys that stole all the magic cards from Gen Con last year? Are they even banned, or are they just wandering around like, hey, you guys can come back, no problem.
Oh my God!
All is forgiven. Come back. You can come back this year. You're fine.
Just don't do it again. Buy
Come
the
on,
cards next time.
buy them next time. Stop stealing cards. Yeah, I believe that story kind of disappeared. We never really found out what happened to them. I assume that they had penalties. I'm sure there was penalties imposed, but I don't know what they did.
Well, it could be too that maybe Gen Con didn't want things going to trial because it would have exposed certain security issues that weren't addressed. And, sometimes this stuff kind of
Well,
slides
I had
away.
heard stories. I don't know if they're true or not, that things had disappeared for years. They had no clue what was going on, and this one just happened to be caught on camera, whereas the other ones weren't. So it makes sense at this point that maybe they don't want people to know how much stuff disappeared during the last few years.
Yeah.
If anything did, I don't know if it did or not, but I have heard that. So
All right. One little tidbit of this week in gaming stupid.
oh, by the way, I did find a Kotaku article. Matt Fantastic was forced to publish a video apology to Jeremy Hambley, so he did suffer that he had to scrape and bow a little bit. So
Okay. Mike,
so probably what he deserved there. So
I'm gonna ask you a question. The answer is a
okay.
number.
Oh dear.
How much is a gold badge at GaryCon?
A gold badge. Well, I'm not sure. I know how much a platinum badge is.
All right. And see now? How much is a platinum badge at GaryCon?
I've heard from a source who got their platinum badge renewal. Their platinum badge renewal will be $775.
By the way, folks, that's more than I paid for 5 nights at North Texas RPG Con for the hotel, possibly even including the badges itself. What do you get for a platinum badge? Do you get a reach around?
You get some. Now you do get some tchotchkes, and you get some limited edition stuff, and I mean you get some stuff worth something. I don't know if you're getting $775 worth of stuff. I would suspect not. I don't know, but you get some. You get a couple of things. Of course you get to register early for anybody else. So you get to pretty much pick your games and get your games. You get some things. But I'm not, man. I don't know how to. I don't want to compare the two, but Gamehole Cons highest level VIP badges are, but I think are $150. So, if you want to go to Gary Con and get all the special stuff, I mean, if you think that's worth it, more power to you.
Do you get
God,
the
that's a lot of
VIP?
money. That is
Do you
a
get it?
lot of money.
Do you get into the VIP party with that?
I would say Gary Con, yeah. I'm sure the platinum badge gives you. Here's the funny thing: is most people that buy the platinum badges are not the people that want to go to the VIP parties anyway. They're the people who have a lot of money but don't really want to mix with. They don't really care. You know what I'm saying? They don't care if they go to a party and Joe Manganiello's there. They just want to play games, right? They want to go play games. So they mostly get the platinum badges for the fact they don't have to really do anything. They just push a button. They're all signed up for everything. They get whatever games they want. Everything's going to be easy for them. That's why they're paying for a platinum badge. But man, God, that's a lot of money for a platinum badge. But you know what? I firmly believe in capitalism, and you should. And if whatever whatever the market bears. I mean, if Luke and Gary Con can charge $1,000 a badge if they get it, more power to them. And actually in a way I think it helps them because it helps them keep the attendance like even. Because if you make it too cheap, you're going to have too many people sign up for platinum badges. So they're just doing what the market bears. So yeah, it's a lot of money, but I have a hard time condemning it. If you're getting it, it's not too much money. If people are paying that and people are still on waiting lists, then it's not too much money. But look, we're not going to do that in North Texas because we don't have VIPs, VIGs, specialty gold, silver, platinum, copper, whatever. We just don't have that because that's just not kind of common we run. But if that's something you want to do, I had a few people this week that brought this up to me and said, "Yeah, you and Eric should let them have it on the show." And I said the same thing. I said, "Why? If somebody charges what the market bears, then that's not if people are paying that money, then it must be worth it, right?"
If they don't sell out, then obviously they charge too much. If they sell out, then maybe they didn't charge enough.
Wow.
Yes, truly too much bookkeeping for those prices.
I wish we could charge that much. The problem is I would feel bad about charging. So I'll let you an inside secret. Gary and I talked about raising prices this year for North Texas, and we eventually said no. Let's just keep it the same because we don't really need to have the money yet, and we just sold out this year. It's not like we sold out by like 100. You know what I'm saying? We just barely sold out, so it's not like we can go, hey, we're obviously such a hit. We can, by the way, I'm getting pictures of midget wrestling. Are you getting these pictures? I'm getting midget wrestling pictures from Ian, so thank you for those, Ian. Oh my gosh.
No, I'm not getting
it's crazier than it's wow. Okay. I lost my train of thought with that. Oh my God. No, but yeah, I mean, we just decided, look, we don't need the money right now. Maybe if we start selling out, like this year we sold out before April 15th. Maybe if we sell out by February, we'll have to say, you know what, maybe we need to raise the prices $5, $10, $15. But it's not about money with us, just because that's just kind of, we just run that kind of con that it's not that's not important.
But it's not in grits, it's in a barn. So
well, I just saw the pictures. It looked like it was in a schoolroom. It doesn't even look like a barn. It looks like a schoolroom, man.
Zach, yes. Exactly.
Midget, it is midget. It is midget wrestling. And it is taking place somewhere.
In the back.
Yeah. Yep. So look, midget wrestling, it's an American tradition. So, I have a hard time coming out against it. If you want to see midgets wrestle, you should be able to see midgets wrestle. I mean,
We had a special guest all lined up. And then he proved that they were even more special.
He dissed us for midget wrestling, which is probably what we deserve, Eric. We probably deserve that. In the hierarchy of needs, in Maslow hierarchy of needs, I think midget wrestling is higher than Talking Crit special guest. I'm going to say that.
Folks, I got to say, you know how important we are to our fellow gamers when midget wrestling comes before talking about your current
I,
Kickstarter.
I mean, it's probably like, Super Bowl tickets, really, really A+ barbecue, midget wrestling, talking grid. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't argue with that. It's hard to argue.
Oh my God. Well, I guess on that note, we're probably ready to wrap this up.
Hey, do we have any news on some upcoming special guests?
No, I don't know if we have any dates. Let me check.
I know we have some people coming
All right. Well,
that
I need to find. I need to find the file.
oh.
All right. Hold on. I found the file.
Whoa.
Um. Oh. Next one I see on our list is for July 3rd.
And that is the Ardo Boys?
Yes.
All right.
The lads
Because we
from
love
Arduin, bloody Arduin.
we
They
love
got
talking Arduin.
and they got maps coming out, folks. Beautiful maps.
Maybe we need to reschedule Ian. I don't know how long his Kickstarter lasts. Maybe we need to schedule
We
him
got
for
next
next week.
week is open, but yeah, we'll,
Yeah.
you know,
I'll
if we
talk
don't
to
have,
him. I'll see if we
if
can
we
get him
don't,
on there.
if we don't
We
have
have
Ian,
we have a lot of Kickstarters coming up. We've got a lot of people
and
Kickstarters coming up. I talked to Tom Wilson this week. He's got a lot of projects at the end of the year. We'll have him on probably before ShireCon so we can pimp ShireCon also for
yes,
him. But I think he's got some stuff coming up definitely. Dang it, I thought there was somebody else on my list too. I'll have to look at it. We need more Rob Colley. That guy's great. You get enough Rob Colley on Fridays, okay?
yeah. This
He's
past
not.
Friday was all Rob and nothing but the
It
Rob.
was.
So help me God. You know, Rob is steady as a rock. He won't go out drinking with his coworkers like Joe.
No.
He won't
No.
go on a date with his wife like Matt and
So
Greg.
so apparently Friday you need you're gonna have Glenn on.
Yes,
And
Glenn
Glenn
wants.
and Glenn and Glenn wants me to stop by for some reason. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I'll try to pop in.
Okay.
I have no clue. Maybe we're gonna, I think we're gonna talk film noir all night, and you're just gonna have to sit back and just take a nap while we talk about film noir.
I'll take care of the chat, sir. I'll take
Or
care of
best,
the chat.
how about best horror films of the last 25 years? I think that's what Glenn and I are going to talk about. So you can just take comments and
Yeah. And I'll be the arguing, no, you're wrong. Oh God. Well, Mike, this was as usual. This was a lot of fun.
We had a blast.
Very, very
Talking about
active chat today.
Yes, thank you very much, chat members. We love it when you guys are just going back and forth and giving us material to riff off of. That makes it so much easier for us.
Yes. And by the way, I'd like to thank my good friend Dave Simpson for giving us material that I could use.
Thank you.
Not just in a regular video, but on the live stream. So
maybe you can get his autograph. Hopefully, you get his autograph in January. You get him to sign something for you. That'd be awesome. Get a picture with him too. Get a picture with him.
Oh, you're really pushing
it. You're right, Boogly. Glenn would never leave us for wrestling. You're right. Glenn's too off. Right. He's too classy. He's too classy. Nobody ever said Ian was classy. He's not. But Glenn is classy.
Yeah, Ian is Ian.
Yep, he is.
All right, folks. Tomorrow night, if you're on the Discord, we do a hangout in the Speakeasy from 9 to 10:30, 11-ish Eastern time. Join us. I'll be there. I might have to bow out early. It is Rachel's birthday, so I might not have.
Well, congratulations, Rachel. That's awesome.
Yeah, and she didn't break her knee last weekend. Mike, we didn't tell. Oh, I'll tell the story real quick before I sign out. So she went to the beach with my sister, and they get to the beach and they're walking down the sand. They're about 3/4 of the way to the water when Rach takes a step, and they both hear a popping sound.
Oh no!
And it was Rachel's right knee, and very painful. Had trouble putting weight on it, so she was a bit of a gimp. My wife, I can call her a gimp. She's stubborn, so we put it, kind of wrapped it. And I ordered a brace. Came early the next morning, and she's stubborn, doesn't want to go see a doctor. because she's the woman I married. So then
Boy.
Monday, we take her to the doc in a box, the urgent care, and they don't fucking know. They're like, we don't. They took X-rays. We don't see a break, but it could be a fracture. It could be torn meniscus.
Well, that's how I tore my meniscus. I squatted down one day, heard a pop, and I'm still recovering. It's been almost 2 years later. It's better. It's a lot better now. But yeah, those things they don't really heal very quickly, if at all. So if that's what it is, I feel bad for it. It's going to take a long time to heal.
So they called Tuesday morning to give her a referral for next week for an orthopedist surgeon. I went to ZocDoc and found an appointment that wasn't in Manhattan. It was one that we could drive to with the doctor that graduated in his top 5% of his class. And was rated a 4.9 out of 5 on ZocDoc. Got a same day appointment. Take her to the office. She comes out with smiles. I go, "What are you smiling about?" She goes, "I didn't." They took like 3 X-rays. She goes, "I didn't break anything." I'm like, "Okay." And it's not a torn meniscus. I go, "So what is it?"
Good. Yeah, that's
she goes, "What is it?" He goes, "Well, you asked me, was this hurting you before?" And she's like, "Yeah, there was some discomfort and pain, but I just kind of figured it's the weather." He goes like, "No, it's arthritis." So she has arthritis.
We're all getting old. We're all getting old, man.
Gave her an anti-inflammatory. We got her another knee brace, and he said,
"Good for her, man. Torn meniscus.
If it's not feeling a lot better in 2 weeks, call and then we'll do an MRI. Because I don't want to do an MRI when it really should just be arthritis." So that happened on Saturday. We talked about it in Gamers Health. Rach is walking better. So,
well, God bless her. Good for her, because I've had torn meniscus since December of 2022, and it sucks, man. It's finally, I've taken medicine and I've been off it enough that my knee doesn't hurt all the time, but I still can't squat because sometimes torn meniscus doesn't heal. It really doesn't heal. Right. And mine's torn, not a lot, but just enough to where they won't operate on it. They said it's not torn enough. Right. So my catch-22 is, if I tore it more, Eric, they would operate on it. But the catch-22 then is, if I tore it more, maybe I couldn't use it. So yeah, that's kind of like, the guy just said, just stay off it. Don't run. He goes, "You don't look like a guy that runs a lot." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I don't run a lot." He said, "Well, don't run. Don't do this. Don't do this. And you're fine." Until when? Well, you'll tear it. Someday it'll tear all the way through and you can get operated on then. Okay. Well, I guess I'll just wait for that day.
There you go.
It's a mess.
So that's the update.
Well, good for her.
RPG Grandma, hello, goodbye. Sorry to do that to you, but hopefully we'll see you this weekend. So, like I said, Discord tomorrow night. Friday is Glenn and myself and possibly Bad Mike.
I try to pop in and make Glenn happy. I like to make Glenn happy.
I like to make Glenn. All right, don't tell his wife that, though.
No.
All right, folks. Be safe, be well. God bless for all those nights. Roll them well.
Disco.